Hello and welcome back to NT Coins World, where we dive deep into the history and value of some of the top 2 most remarkable coins in American numismatics. In today's episode, we're taking an in-depth look at an iconic piece of American coinage, the 1829 to 1837 $1 USA coin in fine condition, and 1845 to 1849 $1 USA coin in fine condition. When we dive into the early 19th century coinage of the United States, 2 coins hold the deep, storied legacy and the breathtaking value potential of the 1829 to 1837 and 1845 to 1849 United States silver dollars, particularly in fine condition. These coins, often simply referred to by collectors as early Gobrecht dollars or early Liberty-seated patterns depending on the year, represent one of the most fascinating and valuable series ever produced by the US Mint. They hail from a transitional era marked by limited production, exceptional craftsmanship, and tremendous historical significance. Today, finding one of these coins, even in fine condition, can command astonishing auction prices, often reaching $50,000 to $70,000 or even higher, depending on the specific year, variety, and surface quality. Now let's dive deep into this incredible coin and explore its fascinating story. The late 1820s through the 1830s was a dynamic period for American coinage. After the early flowing hair and draped bust dollars of the late 1700s, dollar production ceased at the Philadelphia Mint for decades, primarily due to the overwhelming export of silver coins and the volatility of silver prices internationally. By the time 1829 arrived, the need for a silver dollar was apparent, but the Mint approached the problem cautiously. In 1836, Christian Gobrecht, a brilliant engraver, was commissioned to design new coinage that would modernize the nation's currency. The 1829 to 1837 dollars include important experimental patterns, limited strikes, and prototypes that would evolve into the well-known Liberty-seated dollars. While officially there was no standard production of silver dollars between 1804 and 1836, a number of restrike and pattern dollars bearing dates within this range exist, and these coins are what collectors hunt today with incredible passion. The rare coins we are focusing on today, those from 1829 to 1837, mostly exist as pattern issues and were not widely circulated. These patterns were produced in extremely limited numbers, often just a handful of examples, primarily to test new designs and prepare for future large-scale production. A coin dated 1836, for example, known as the Gobrecht dollar, marks a critical turning point. The design, featuring a majestic, seated Liberty figure based on sketches by artist Thomas Sully and executed by Gobrecht, is considered one of the most beautiful in US numismatics. The obverse showcases Liberty seated on a rock, holding a shield and a staff, symbolizing the strength and readiness of the young American nation. The reverse of early versions features a soaring eagle, reflecting the vitality and hopefulness of the country's expansion westward. But even earlier dated coins like those bearing the years 1829 to 1835 are shrouded in mystery and controversy. Although no official mass production occurred during these years, pieces exist that are dated within this span, typically categorized as fantasy pieces or trial strikes, likely produced secretly at the Mint or under special commission. These coins are exceedingly rare. For instance, an 1834 dated dollar created as part of a diplomatic gift for foreign dignitaries such as the King of Siam ranks among the most coveted coins globally, commanding auction prices upwards of $3 million in pristine proof condition. Even in fine condition, however, lesser-known pattern issues or restrikes from this period can easily sell for $50,000 to $100,000 depending on specific details like die characteristics, provenance, and the presence of surface marks or cleaning. One fascinating element collectors examine when evaluating an 1829 to 1837 dollar is the alignment of the dies. Early versions typically used a medal alignment, where the reverse is flipped vertically relative to the obverse. This small technical detail can help distinguish genuine pieces from later forgeries. Another critical area is the edge lettering. Authentic early silver dollars from this era feature elaborate edge lettering reading 100 cents, $1, or unit. Finding a coin with sharp, original edge lettering significantly boosts its value and authenticity. In fine condition, an 1829 to 1837 dollar will naturally show considerable wear. Liberty's figure will be flatter, with details in the drapery and shield partially worn down. The eagle on the reverse may appear soft, especially in the wing feathers and tail. However, even with these signs of age, the sheer rarity of these coins means they retain massive collector demand. If a collector finds an example with light, uniform wear, no major scratches, and original uncleaned surfaces, they are looking at a coin that could fetch $60,000 or more easily at auction. Varieties play a massive role in this coin series as well. The 1836 Gobrecht dollar, for instance, comes in multiple varieties, including the originals of 1836 with the eagle flying horizontally and later versions with a slightly angled, soaring eagle. Die alignment differences in the number of stars around Liberty, and slight changes to the eagle's wing positioning can distinguish extremely valuable varieties from more common ones. Some rare varieties, like the name below base Gobrecht dollar, are so rare that fewer than 10 examples are known, making them extreme trophy pieces for advanced collectors. Errors on 1829 to 1837 silver dollars are nearly unheard of simply due to the microscopic mint edges. However, coins with minor mint-made planchet flaws, adjustment marks, filed edges to adjust weight, or weak strikes can be intriguing to specialists. An example showing double-striking off-centered features or significant die cracks could potentially multiply a coin's value several times due to its rarity and the story it tells about early US mint practices. Even relatively minor anomalies from this period can lead to auction premiums of tens of thousands of dollars, given how small the surviving population is. Turning to market values, it's clear that demand far outstrips supply. For example, a typical fine-condition Gobrecht dollar from 1836 might be conservatively valued around $50,000 to $70,000 today, depending on eye appeal and historical documentation. Coins with exceptional pedigrees, meaning coins with a well-documented line of ownership from famous collectors like Eliasberg, Norweb, or Garrett, can command an additional 20% to 50% premium over market value. If a coin appears on the market with flawless provenance and minimal cleaning or alteration, it's not unreasonable to expect a hammer price of $75,000 or more, even in a fine grade. The historical context surrounding these coins is another aspect that makes them so electrifying for collectors. Remember, the late 1820s and early 1830s were a time of massive change in America. It was the era of President Andrew Jackson, the rise of the common man battles over the national bank, and rapid territorial expansion. Every 1829 to 1837 silver dollar ties directly into that history. When you hold one of these coins, you are holding a tangible piece of early American spirit, innovation, and ambition. Even finding an 1829 to 1837 dollar available for private sale is rare. Most known examples trade hands through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions. When they do come up for auction, they are often the centerpiece of the sale, drawing intense bidding wars among deep-pocketed numismatists, investors, and historians. Auction results for fine-condition examples consistently show year-over-year price growth, reflecting the undeniable fact that truly rare coins with irreplaceable history are immune to ordinary market downturns. Owning one of these coins is often considered a crown jewel achievement, even for seasoned collectors. Whether purchased as an investment for historical appreciation or as a trophy piece, an 1829 to 1837 dollar in fine condition is a monumentally significant acquisition. Its scarcity, beauty, and legacy ensure that it will always command respect and admiration. Given the small surviving population, experts estimate that perhaps only 30 to 40 genuine examples from all varieties and dates exist in collectible condition across the world. Fine condition pieces are even fewer because many surviving examples are either heavily worn or heavily restored, making original fine condition examples extremely desirable. Adding one of these treasures to a collection doesn't just enhance its monetary value, it connects the collector to the artistry, politics, and economic forces that shaped the earliest days of the United States as an emerging power. Each small scratch, each tiny imperfection, is a silent witness to nearly 2 centuries of American history. So whether you are an aspiring numismatist dreaming of owning one someday, an investor eyeing a once-in-a-generation opportunity, or a historian fascinated by tangible relics of the past, the 1829 to 1837 $1 USA coin represents an apex of numismatic passion. Few coins embody the spirit of rarity, beauty, and national heritage quite like it. And while you might need $50,000, $70,000, or even over $100,000 to bring one into your life, the true value of owning such a magnificent artifact is, without a doubt, absolutely priceless. When we turn our attention to the period from 1845 to 1849, we find ourselves standing in another extraordinary chapter of early American coinage history, one that collectors and historians alike cherish deeply. The silver dollars minted during these years belong to the Liberty-seated dollar series, one of the most iconic and beloved coin designs ever issued by the United States Mint. These coins, in fine condition, are rare survivors of a time when silver dollars were not heavily produced for everyday commerce, but rather served special banking and trade purposes. They offer an irreplaceable connection to a rapidly changing America, and today are highly sought after by serious collectors, often commanding prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range of $35,000 to $60,000 or more, depending on the specific year, mint mark, and overall appearance. The 1840s were a transformative time in American history. This was the era of westward expansion, the Texas Revolution, the Mexican-American War, and the rapid development of new states and territories. It was a time when the United States was solidifying its position on the North American continent, fueled by a booming belief in manifest destiny. Against this backdrop, the Mint continued its cautious but steady production of silver dollars, which were primarily used in banking circles and for international trade rather than for everyday transactions. As a result, mintage numbers for these years were low compared to smaller denominations, and survival rates were even lower, making every fine condition piece a genuine treasure. The Liberty-seated design, crafted by Christian Gobrecht, is a masterpiece of American numismatic art. The obverse features Liberty seated on a rock, facing left, holding a shield emblazoned with the word Liberty and a staff topped with a Liberty cap. 13 stars circle the top of the coin, representing the original colonies. The reverse displays a heraldic eagle, clutching arrows and an olive branch, a powerful symbol of readiness for war, yet desire for peace. The craftsmanship, symmetry, and symbolism woven into this design capture the spirit of America during one of its most ambitious and optimistic eras. Each year between 1845 and 1849 produced subtle but important variations in the Liberty-seated dollars, and these small differences can have significant impacts on collector value. For example, the 1846 dollar is famous for having 2 notable varieties, the 1846 normal date and the highly coveted 1846 tall date variety. In the tall date variety, the numerals in the date are more widely spaced and taller than on the normal issue. Because of their extreme scarcity, the 1846 tall date dollars, even in fine condition, can sell for an impressive $50,000 to $75,000 depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and pedigree. Mintages for these years were consistently low. In 1845, the Philadelphia Mint produced just 24,500 Liberty-seated dollars. The 1846 saw a mintage of 110,600, a comparatively larger number, but still modest in historical terms. By 1847, mintage dropped sharply to just 140,750, and in 1848 it fell even lower to 15,000. The 1849 issue is especially notable, as it was produced during the early days of the California Gold Rush, a time when the United States Mint was about to be overwhelmed by an influx of gold bullion, altering precious metals usage across the country. Only 46,000 Liberty-seated dollars were minted that year, making them highly desirable today. Eras and varieties play a critical role in the value of 1845 to 1849 Liberty-seated dollars. Besides the 1846 tall date variety, collectors also hunt for die cracks, die rotations, repunched dates, known as RPDs, and misplaced digits in the denticles surrounding the rim. For instance, some 1847 dollars show minor die doubling on Liberty's hand and shield, while certain 1848 pieces feature light repunching of the date, visible under magnification. These small anomalies, when authenticated, can drive up values dramatically, sometimes adding $10,000 to $20,000 over the base value of a fine condition piece. When evaluating fine condition examples, collectors expect to see considerable but even wear across the coin's highest points. On the obverse, Liberty's head, chest, and knees will often appear flattened, but major details of the shield and staff should remain discernible. On the reverse, the eagle's wings and breast feathers will be smoothed out, but the outline of the wings, arrows, and olive branches will still be distinct. Key to value retention in this grade is originality. Collectors highly prize coins with original surfaces, free from harsh cleaning, polishing, or other damage. Authenticity is crucial when it comes to coins of this era. Because of their high value, Liberty-seated dollars have long been targets for counterfeiting, especially using altered date methods, where common dates are manipulated to resemble rare ones. As such, collectors should insist on third-party grading from reputable companies like PCGS or NGC when buying or selling these coins. Certified fine condition examples with clear provenance and problem-free services routinely fetch $40,000 to $60,000 at auction, depending on the year and variety. One of the most compelling aspects of collecting 1845 to 1849 Liberty-seated dollars is their direct connection to monumental historical events. Imagine an 1848 dollar minted the same year gold was first discovered at Sutter's Mill, sparking the California gold rush. That coin likely moved across the country by stagecoach or steamship, perhaps passed between bankers financing the expansion into the American West, or served as a store of value for wealthy merchants shipping goods to the newly annexed territories. Holding such a coin isn't just owning silver, it's owning the spirit of a nation on the move, dreaming boldly of its future. Today's market for these coins remains strong and is getting stronger. The surge of interest in tangible assets has driven up rare coin prices across the board, but few sectors are hotter than early silver dollars. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Legend Rare. Coin auctions regularly report fierce bidding competition for high-end Liberty-seated dollars, with prices rising steadily year over year. A well-preserved 1845 dollar in fine condition, free from major blemishes and with appealing surfaces, could sell for $35,000 to $45,000 today. An 1846 tall date dollar could exceed $70,000. An 1848 or 1849 example with above-average surfaces or an exciting provenance could cross the $50,000 threshold with ease. Part of the challenge and the thrill of collecting these coins is that many survivors are tightly held in private collections. Public offerings are relatively infrequent, and when coins do hit the market, they often ignite intense collector interest. Pedigreed examples, coins once owned by famous collectors like Louis Eliasberg or the Garrett family, can sometimes double their base value purely based on their storied history. It's not just about owning the coin, it's about owning a piece of the collector's legacy as well. Every small mark, every gentle scrape on a fine condition. Liberty-seated dollar from 1845 to 1849 tells a story. Maybe it spent years hidden away in a bank vault, forgotten as fortunes rose and fell. Maybe it was a lucky silver dollar carried west by a prospector, dreaming of gold in the California hills. Whatever its journey, every coin has survived the Civil War, 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and countless cycles of American history to find its way to the present moment. For those considering an investment, Liberty-seated dollars from the mid-1840s offer compelling fundamentals. They have limited surviving populations, deep historical resonance, strong collector bases, and proven price appreciation. Numismatic experts consistently recommend early silver dollars as cornerstone pieces for serious collections. Over a 10 to 20-year holding period, fine-condition Liberty-seated dollars have shown reliable, steady growth outpacing many traditional investment classes while offering the added joy of holding history in one's hands. In the end, the 1845 to 1849 $1 USA coin in fine condition is more than just a collectible. It is a masterpiece of artistry, a witness to history, and a tangible link to the ambitious, restless spirit of a growing America. Whether you admire it for its beauty, its rarity, or its historical importance, owning one is a privilege few collectors ever achieve. But for those who do, the reward is immeasurable, a direct personal connection to the epic saga of the United States during one of its most defining eras. In every worn star, every faint line of Liberty's dress, and every soft feather of the eagle's wing, you can feel the pulse of a young nation striving toward greatness. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to NT Coins World for more deep dives into the world of rare coins. Until next time, keep collecting and happy hunting. Thank you for joining me today on NT Coins World. If you found this deep dive into the 1829 to 1837 $1 coin and 1845 to 1849 $1 coin fascinating, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more numismatic insights and coin reviews. Until next time, happy collecting.